All right, welcome into another edition of the Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. And, of course, on Facebook Live, as we've been doing some Facebook Live videos, and hope you're enjoying those. We appreciate everybody checking us out and tuning in. Of course, not a fun year. I mean, you always have, being in the media, although I don't call myself a media member, but being, in radio, especially, it's easy to talk about the Jags. It is. I mean, look, that's always the fallback, right? Because we're a Jaguar town. Of course, you get into the Gators, you get into Seminoles, you get into other. I get it. That's a nice crutch to have too. But in this town, especially from my perspective and experience, is that you go to the Jags when you don't have anything else to say. But which makes it easy. But when they're losing and consistently losing, and the beating they took last week against the Titans, it's just, you're like, oh, gosh, damn, do I really gotta, talk about it today? But that's what you do. And look, I want nothing more than this team to win. I want nothing more than the organization to win. I saw a video clip of Travis Kelce, the great center of the Philadelphia Eagles. It's on all social media. He's like, it's all winning. All the other stuff doesn't mean anything. It's fluff. It just doesn't mean anything. But winning means everything, and everything has to be geared towards winning. And he wasn't just saying that from the players. Across the board, it's got to be that way. So, it sucks when you're 1-12. You got 3 games left. You want to finish strong as a player. You want to win, obviously. I know fans don't want them to win. You want the draft capital. We understand that. But they go up to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, look, they're fighting for their playoff life. I mean, they're right there on the edge. You got Miami not too far off of them. They need this win at 8-5. They can go 9-5. Of course, they're coming off a fantastic Monday night game and victory. They needed that one big time. So, look, this is and this is exciting times in the NFL, especially for myself, because let's see, I think I played in 5 playoff games, started 3. We played in 8, but I was hurt those 2 years. I think it was 9 or whatever total while I was a member of the team. But the ones that I participated in, I mean, it's heightened. Everything is heightened. Everything is not just faster, but means more. One screw up, and that you could cost your team a game. So you go in thinking that I got to be ultra prepared. I got to be ready. I can't screw it up. And now you got to play loose at the same time. But I love this time of the NFL, because these games have meanings. Last night, I mean, the Raiders needed that victory, and they didn't get it in overtime, and that's going to hurt them. There's no doubt about it. I love this time of year. Baltimore at 8-5, they're third in the division. Cleveland, not a soft 9-4. I call them soft. I think they're legit. Of course, Pittsburgh at 11-2. Look, the big story, against Baltimore is what? We play against Calais Campbell. We play against Yannick Ngakoue. And then, by the way, Lamar Jackson can kill you at any given moment. So, a tall order for this Jacksonville Jaguar team. We'll get into their side in just a minute. But look, the Ravens overall, they've come on strong. They've been up and down overall, as a team. I'm looking up their stats now. They're scoring 28, giving up 21. That's phenomenal. I always look at the score. I think I said the scores, rush per down, third down efficiency, for and against. Of course, I look at sacks and that type of thing. Lamar Jackson's been sacked 31 times. So, that's what, 2 a game, maybe 3, somewhere in that range. And so they give that up, and they get 28 a sack. So, the Ravens have 31. They give up 28. So that's, that's not, you can get after them on that one. Rushing per down, 4.5. Hey, James Robinson, here we go. Let's go. I know Hayes Carlon says sit him. I say no. Let's keep adding to this magical year. So now, granted, their rushing attack's pretty strong. They're averaging 5.3 yards a carry. And our run defense hasn't been good. It was good for a few games. Fell off the cliff last week. I mean, Derrick Henry just killed you. Look, for the record, again, a big back like that, your D linemen have to win. There's no just getting your gap and hang, and say, oh, I got my gap. No, you gotta make a play. You gotta get to Derrick Henry, of course, before he gets to you. But they average 5.3 yards a carry, so that's going to be challenging. Part of that is Lamar Jackson, of course, taking off. We know that, and the set runs that they have. But giving up 4.5, that's interesting to me. That could be something that the offense can take advantage of. Look, they give up, 360 yards a game. That's not bad. We give up a lot more than that, unfortunately. We're probably near 450, if not worse on average. Third down, they're at 44%. That's very good. Their defense gets off the field on third down. Very, very interesting there at 36%, which is fantastic. One out of just a little bit over 1 out of 3. Look, I think Miles Jack said it best. We're not worried. He didn't say this. I'm taking his words and making them my own. We're not too worried about him throwing the ball, although he can make some throws. We're more worried about him taking off and hurting us in the running game, which he has done so much. Of course, leading the team, almost 800 yards rushing by their QB, 6.3 yards a carry. You got Edwards, of course. Mark Ingram is there. All these backs, they're over 5 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry. Dobbins in there as well, who's a very shifty back. It's going to be a tall. I think they're going to get killed. I do. I think they're going to get killed, and I'm sorry to say that, but they just haven't shown anything. Granted, anything can happen in the National Football League, as we all know. But look, you look at Calais Campbell, you look at Ngakoue, who hasn't really done that much stat-wise. They're coming to play. They have something to prove. This Raven defense can be had. They're not the old Ravens defense where they were dominating all the time. They're good. There's no doubt about it. They've got some players. They got some linebackers or safeties who are tough. Got a good couple good corners. Look, Gardner Minshew gets the nod. He's the starting QB. He came off the bench that first drive. It was good. It was a spark. Let him down on a touchdown drive. Good play calling, good throws. He's good on those intermediary throws. But then later on, he kind of craps down his leg in the red zone. So to me, you know what you get out of Gardner Minshew. You know what they're going to do. They're going to load the box. They're not worried about Gardner beating them. So how do you battle that? All right. So you battle. Look, your quarterback doesn't have he can just flick it. You saw Justin Herbert last night. The kid's incredible. He's got all the tools. You see other guys, Josh Allen. You see Aaron Rodgers. You see these guys just flick it, and it goes a mile. Gardner Minshew doesn't have that in his game. However, if you call the right passes and he delivers them on time, which means what? Intermediaries, quick, 10, 15-yard dig routes, which a dig, for those of you who don't know, you go up, 45-degree angle, then you square it off. You come right across the middle. You're open a lot. You got to be careful of that safety if you haven't pushed him off on the other side, because he's just sitting there waiting for him. But you can sneak him behind linebackers, sometimes safeties. You can still throw the deep ball. He's just got to throw it earlier. And it's got to be a planned deep ball. But look, I think they're going to have a tough time. Our offensive line, look, some of them have done okay. A.J. Cann is fine. The tackle's been up and down. Calais could come in here and have 4 sacks Sunday. Or up there. Sorry, they play up in Baltimore. It's going to be a challenging game. And again, when you add the fact that Baltimore really needs this win, it's going to be a long day, I'm afraid, for you Jacksonville Jaguars. And, maybe you're okay with that. As a fan, you're like, all right, whatever. I'll grin and bear it, and we'll look forward to the offseason. The offseason is going to be exciting. It should be. It should be. I'm a little concerned, and I got to be honest that, well, I'm always pretty honest, but that Shad Khan is going to interview Trent Baalke, who's already here. Trent Baalke, who I don't know personally. I've only heard things about him, and all good for the most part. Came from San Fran. He helped build them, but then John Lynch came in. I think there was some, little rift there. Not a rift, but like didn't get along great, and he was the odd man out, so the Jags picked him up. I have a feeling he's going to interview. Shad Khan's going to be like, all right, you're the guy. Let's keep Doug and let's keep rolling. And, I hope that's not the case. I mean, what do they say insanity is? Doing it over and over and over again. Nothing against Doug, but he's been here long enough. I know the players love him. Miles Jack came out and said, I got his back. Well, that's great. I'm happy players like him. But it's not working, And it hasn't worked now for 3 years. And it's not like you won the Super Bowl. You came close to a game, but then you didn't back it up. 18 was a terrible disappointment. 19, terrible disappointment. 2020, one of the worst. It's the worst year in franchise history, with no hope, in sight. So we're gonna have to ride it out. You got the Ravens this week, Bears next week. You finish with the Colts. You got a shot against the Bears, maybe. Maybe, but I wouldn't expect you to win any of them. But yeah, I think Shad Khan, with the way he's handled this team so far, I'm not going to be surprised if that's the move. Now, granted, I'll tell you this, and I've said it before, and I hate that it sounds so personal because it's not. But Todd Wash needs to be gone. His schemes don't work. The one gap doesn't work. I'm watching these guys in the one gap. They just go into their gap. They could rush up the field 5 freaking yards. And, hey, I'm in my gap, but you're not making the play. You're too robotic. It's like you're too concerned with, hey, look, one gap. Everybody's got a gap. Well, in a perfect world, yeah, everybody beats their block. Everybody gets to their gap. Everybody's just sitting there waiting for the running back to come, because from 0 to 9 on both sides, 0 to 10 or whatever it is, 0 to 9, I'm covered. 8 on one side, 9 on the other, right? The holes, the numbers of the holes. I got it all. We got it. But that's not realistic. Guys don't get off blocks. They get beat. Guys, make a false step, whatever the case may be. So you can't, as a player, just be like, I got my gap, I'm good. No, you got to make sure your gap's secured, but you got to go make a play on the ball, right? And if the play's coming at me, I damn well better serve that gap and be there. But that doesn't mean that's it. I got to go make a tackle. If it goes away from me, I don't got to worry about my gap. I'm not hitting that gap. I'm going to the ball. So, look, easier said than done, but I just don't understand, that Todd Wash still has a job here as a defense coordinator. Look, it's a tough business, man. It's a production business. I'll give them credit for 2018. They played all right defensively. 2019, not good. 2020, not good whatsoever. And now you finish with 3 years or 3 more games. Look, you got Miles Jack to work on. Look, the linebackers are fine. We're good with linebackers. I think Schobert's fine. He's coming on. You got to love Miles Jack. I always knew he'd be better at will. I want to see Chase on at Sam. I liked his spin move last week. You saw that on the pass rush. That takes a lot of confidence for a young guy to be confident enough to make that move and go forward without falling down, without tripping over the offensive lineman, any of that. He made a great move, got to the QB, a nice hit. But I want to see him more in space. I think our linebackers are good. I do. But they're the only ones I'm happy about. I'm not happy with the D-line. I'm not happy with our corners. So they got to be upgraded. Of course, you got some guys out, injured, whatever. But that's okay, But linebackers are good. On offense, your wide receivers are good. I like them. Can we see more of Colin Johnson, please? Collins, I like this kid. He's big, he's tall, he's fast, he gets open. Gardner's got to get a rapport going with him. So I think our wide receivers are pretty good overall. And in my opinion, Chark, look, I think Chark's had a down year because he hasn't had a QB that can get him the ball consistently. I think that guy gets open, and he's a stretch the field kind of guy. So I want to see more of him. I want to see more throws to him, I should say. Laviska, hey, he's talented. Cole, he's shown up. Conley, he's been injured. He hasn't really done much this year. But you've got at least 4 or 5 that you can count on. Are you going to add to that? Sure. Let me get my glasses on there, Chris. I can't read from that far. Didn't we upgrade last year? Well, yeah, they say they upgrade every year, but we know the results. Look, again, it's not working. It hasn't been working. I'm going to watch them. I'm going to watch. I'm going to cheer them on. I hope they get it done. But I'm not expecting much. I'm looking forward to the other games, though. A lot of playoff contentions being there. KC and New Orleans will be fun. Granted, they're in different conferences, but that's going to be a fun game to watch. And look, December, man, it's playoff time. And if you're vying for the tournament, this is a big time of the year. So I expect John Harbaugh and the Ravens to come prepared, ready to go. They're not going to look past anybody. You can't at this time of the year unless you've clinched. Which, you can say that for KC maybe, but I don't think Andy Reid's going to allow that to happen, except maybe the last game of the year when he may not play some of his people. But it's an exciting time of the year. You've got some great college football this weekend, the championships around the NCAA Power 5 schools. That'll be fun. Be interesting to see TV ratings, right? Because you got Saturday night football in the NFL. You got college football, big-time college football, on Saturday night as well. We'll be back next week. I think one show next week because next Friday is Christmas. Do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, season's greetings, happy holidays all the way around. And appreciate you tuning in to the Tommy Mac Podcast right here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. And thanks for checking us out on Facebook Live. We'll see you next week, and go Jags.